Chino Valley I knew it from the age 4, and it was a farming community. It was most all farmland because we farmed and ranched since my great-grandfather come in. So agricultural water has been very important for generations in our family. My name's Dave Hilbert. I farm in the Verde Valley. I also am the ditch commissioner for a couple of ditches here in the Verde Valley. And of course, irrigation water is critically important to my way of life. I mean, since high school, I farmed probably 300 acres. It's now houses. And most of the farms that were big farms are now subdivided into houses and acreage that uses water for yards. So the water is critical to us in agriculture still. The southern end of Chino Valley was under the Chino Valley Irrigation District, which was the Watson Will Lakes, and they dammed them up, Granite Creek, and that was the agricultural on the southern end. The northern end of the valley is where we were at. The wells were our source of water. We pumped. Across from us on 5 North was the Rio Springs farmland, pasture land, and we farmed. In the winter, our wells were artesian. There was that kind of water source, which today is gone, of course. But that was our farming there, and grew up on the land. My first memory of the Rio Springs, of course, was the big buildings. And they were red and white buildings. But that was the beginning of the Arizona Territorial Capital, was Rio Springs. I remember the trees and the pastures that were in front to the west of the buildings. And it was beautiful. I mean, it was very impressive. Rio Springs was a very impressive place. Right across from us was the Rio Springs farmland as well. And they had a big well that was artesian, and it was an artesian well. And we'd artesian several thousand gallons a minute. Another memory was I knew the people that were on Rio Springs for the Santa Fe Railroad. And they had a 2-story house in at the Springs, and Santa Fe Railroad used to bring in cars, tank cars, and haul the water from Rio Springs to Seligman and Williams. That was their water supply, was Rio Springs. Well, the water is obviously the lifeblood for the agriculture use. I mean, without water here in Arizona, no agriculture, because rain is not something that's a big issue. So the water in the rivers is critical to agriculture's existence and life. I think that we have a wonderful situation in the Verde Valley for agriculture because we have water 24/7, which a lot of places don't have that availability. So right here in Camp Verde, water is critical for agriculture. I'm not sure what's going to happen. The CAP's cutting back agriculture. What's going to happen in the future, I don't know, especially with the droughty conditions. That's one of the big pluses with the Verde River and Camp Verde is that we do have water. And at this point, we're not being cut, which is critical to our existence. So it's, you know, the river is an important thing. For Phoenix, I'm not sure what they're going to do. I know they're trying to get other sources of water, groundwater. I'm not sure about what the future holds. That's an unknown at this point. And of course, the water has been critical to the whole family's existence. Big Chino and Sullivan Lake. Sullivan Lake was the beginning of the Verde River. They had thought that Sullivan Lake would be a big lake for fishing and duck hunting. And so that was a clubhouse, and a couple blinds was the old rock buildings, which were pretty neat buildings, in my opinion. And so it silted in, because Big Chino Wash and Granite Creek, I think, feeds in, and Williamson Valley feeds in, and it silted in the lake.